Hey guys, welcome to Weekend Warrior Podcast. My name is Dave Witcher, President of FFL Velocity, and today I have a couple special guests with me. First, I have Mr. Matt Lingo. Say hi, Matt.
Hey.
Matt is the sales manager with Adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also have President of Adrenaline, Mr. Tim VanSumeren. Say
Hey
hi,
guys,
Tim.
how are you?
Good. And so today, guys, so we're just going to dive into some stuff here and just talk to these guys. We're going to start with Matt. Matt's been here a little bit of time. Matt, how long you been with us?
About 8 months.
Okay. And what was your background prior to coming to FFL?
So I was working with another company. We were doing supplemental insurance, doing a lot of door-to-door with businesses, cold calling, that kind of stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So what about before that? So you've been in insurance how long total?
About 4 years now. I was in the college and I was in the National Guard for military for a while, so I had a deployment and stuff like that, so I was a little offset with graduating. Once I graduated college, moved out to Montana, took a year to have fun with my wife, and then started doing insurance after that.
You guys have kids, right?
One, yep.
How
Yep.
old?
She's one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, 13 months.
Yeah, that's pretty, how's that feeling?
It's a little bit. Yeah, she's fun. She's fun, but she's definitely got a little bit of that 1-year-old attitude. We say she's one going on 13. It's kind of what it seems like.
Well,
That's awesome.
yeah, you're about to get in those twos.
Oh
That's
yeah,
always
yeah.
fun.
But no, she's awesome.
Tim's got a handful of kids too, right?
Yeah.
Couple. No, but
Yeah, two.
Tim, tell us about your background real quick.
Yep. So been in the insurance industry. September will be 12 years total. Good portion of it was in the supplemental industry. Similar background to Matt in terms of, going door to door, that sort of thing, drumming up your own leads, cold calling, things like that.
So Tim, the one thing about Tim is he's been very coachable from the very beginning. He reached out and, he's been with us about a year.
Yep, just a
Something
little over a year.
being teachable, coachable, understanding it's just, buying leads. What has been your experience? So you came from where you were cold calling, and what's the difference between, what have you found that you like about it? What do you like about FFL that maybe was different than where you came from?
Yeah, a huge thing for me was, again, we're doing a lot of cold calling, and I was door knocking on. You guys did a lot of residential. I actually did B2B. So I was going into a lot of businesses, especially during COVID time in Minnesota. We were pretty dang shut down. And so to be trying to knock on a business's door when they're all shut down, that was a pretty big thing. So when you actually have people that are reaching out to you saying, hey, I actually want information on this, and you just get to go see them, for me that was just a night and day difference as
Sure.
far as seeing people that want you to come see you versus you going to see people that don't really want to see you that much.
Yeah, that was, looking back, we did the same thing. I think for me, looking back now after being here for 18 months or so, it's convincing. Like I had to convince. Like it wasn't like they didn't think they could get cancer or have a bad accident or something like that, but I felt like looking back on it was more I had to, hey, this could happen to you.
Yep.
Whereas we all know we're going to die.
Yep.
Let's just be
Right.
real. And I think that's the one thing I like to say is that one thing's for sure, we're going to die, right? So we all need life insurance, all of us. Tim, what has been like your experience? You've been here a little bit longer, but what, maybe now that you've been here a little longer and reflecting back on some of the things that you love about FFL versus maybe where you came from?
Yeah, I did want to say something about the whole leads thing that I've thought about, and it just, why is this process so much different or so much more effective than other companies that do, the cold calling, stuff like that. And I think the thing that I've arrived at is the clients or the prospects that are looking for the insurance, they've arrived at that conclusion and they've thought about that for themselves. So they've decided in their mind already and they've taken the steps to reach out. And so that's totally different than trying to walk into a business or walk into somebody's home and then, first of all, build that connection with them, build rapport with them, and then eventually get to what you were doing and then try and paint the picture. And the system was, it was what it was, but, so that was a huge difference for me. And truth be told, that was kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around when I first started doing this because I'd just been doing it a different way for so long. And, the old saying is you don't know what you don't know until you know something different.
Yeah.
And it's been just completely night and day. It's not even in the same universe as what we used to do. And what used to be a great quarter over there now is a decent month here. It's ridiculous. It's bonkers, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So that's been completely different. So specifically in terms of like personal sales, it's just been, straight to the top here. And there's a lot of things that I could point at as far as why we're more effective here. But the biggest thing for me, if I can talk about why I came over here, I don't know if that was actually
Sure, yeah,
even
that's
your
fine.
question or not. But for me, it was always knowing that I wanted to build a team. I wanted to surround myself with people. I wanted to lead an organization and actually build an agency. And through a lot of trials and heartache and just some struggles at where I was at before, it because of numerous different reasons, which if you want me to address those in this situation, I can, or later. But here within a year, we're doing not anything necessarily that I'm so special about, but just because the team and the structure and the processes and in even just recently the changes that we're making, it's just a better opportunity for everybody to win here. And so even newer people coming on board are much more successful here. And so you see people staying and people winning here, and so our team's growing. That's the bottom line.
And while I was on this, as you're sitting here talking, and I hate to go a different direction, but I'm going to do that for just 1 second. But Greg Bradley, we lost here recently, who's one of our partners, right?
Yeah.
Not to get emotional and cry on this, but the reason I bring that up is because behind the scenes, a lot of people don't see this, right? But do you know who was at his funeral yesterday? Shawn White.
Really?
You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Man.
So how many CEOs, I'm just saying, they're in Los Angeles, they're here, whatever, are going to fly in to a funeral and go meet people you've never met before because you were able to meet this guy once or twice, and he's in your business, and you're always out there trying to protect families. We're actually in the Charlotte office on a Sunday right now, the three of us talking, and his funeral was yesterday, on a Saturday, and he shows up, meets Michael's brother, his son Josh, and their family. And it's so real to be a part of something like that where
That's
the
awesome.
guy cares enough to do that. So thank you, Sean, for that.
Yeah.
So not to get all the trouble, but I guess my point is when you are family, you're family, and that's the key. And so it's just always constantly giving back. We have another situation. Anyway, there's all these situations that come up that you guys, a lot of people aren't aware of. The little girl's going through a heart situation, and we're going to step up and help her, and doing that. And, it's just, and we help Greg some, his family. And it's not, and that's what it's about. But I mean, I'm just saying, like at the end of the day,
man.
at the end of the day, though, that's what we have is that heart, So, I'm gonna go to you, Matt, as we kind of talk through that. Just what are some things that you love about FFL that I think I asked you this, but maybe a little bit more in detail. You mentioned calling the leads, but talk about what a dial day looks like, and then when you go in the home and how that's different than, like you said, knocking on doors in the business. And if this thing came back,
Yeah.
and things got crazy, how do you feel knowing, like, even we went to the virtual sales thing, right? Knowing that sales training is there from a high level, and somebody to be able to teach you how to still take care of your family. How does that feel? Can we make those adjustments?
Yeah. So well, hold on. That was like a 3-part question.
Yes, it
I'll
was.
start.
I like that. Yeah. You
I'll
gotta
start.
follow.
I'll start
Sorry.
with the first part. So dial day, right? What does
Yes.
that generally look like? So a big thing for me, one of the things that I learned right away is somebody, and I don't know who it was. I can't say who it was, but somebody said, "Hey, on dial days, all you're doing is you are setting up. All you do is you work on Monday and you work on Thursday. After that, you're just picking up checks the rest of the week." And that was when I heard that was something that was just like, oh my goodness, that's true. And so that was a huge thing for me, is just to be able to make those dials on Monday and Thursday and just be really focused. Hey, starting at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, I'm making phone calls. I don't stop until you get those appointments set, and then the rest of the week you're just picking up checks at that point in time. And so I guess part 2 was something along the lines of how it's different as far as the in-home.
When you say, when you go to the in-home,
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and so same thing, like Tim had mentioned, a really big thing with FFL is, again, you're setting up 8 appointments in a day or whatever it may be, and all these people are expecting you to come over. They're waiting for you to come over. You're not having to convince them of anything. Whereas with the practice company, again, I'm walking into a business, they have no idea I'm coming, and I'm basically having to convince them, hey, this is why you need to listen to me. It's only going to take a few minutes, and again, not saying it wasn't a good product. It's a great product. It's just that the whole selling aspect of you having to convince them why they need to listen to you was a huge difference. So, yeah, now when I'm sitting down with people, like I said, they know why I'm coming over. We've already talked, we've made contact, and it's just kind of sitting down, figuring out what their needs are, and then you get to help them with their needs, versus, like you had mentioned before, trying to convince them why they maybe need to listen to you.
So Tim, talk about that difference. I mean, like, here's the thing I will say, okay? And being in both positions, okay? I know for a fact it's easier to build an agency here than where I came from. I know that. And I know you know that, right? And for people that came from there, and there's others with us, right? And I just know, because here's the thing, it comes down to recruiting. And here, dude, you don't have to be a great recruiter, but, you know, the numbers are there. I mean, all you got to do is, hey, put it out there. It's like a fish, you know, you're going to get people. But talk about that aspect of it, because here's the thing. To build an agency, if you've got a bunch of people coming through the door, it's easy to give them away. It's easy to build a team. But you know, let's talk about your experience with that, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, again, was the main thing that when I first came over that was not confusing to me, because, you know, I've shared this before, but I watched Dave and some of the other people on his team for, you know, probably, four to 6 months or so, maybe even a little bit longer. But, you know, it was certainly personal sales, and that was one thing that motivated me to see him out in the field and writing business. And, you know, still the guy that's leading the charge is also the guy that's, you know, kind of leading his company, leading Velocity, but he's out there in the field too. So that was really motivating to me as well. But then, you know, I would see the numbers posted, and I'd see the team results, and I'd see, you know, the team growing and stuff. And that was really kind of what sealed the deal for me, because, again, I've always known that, you know, I could sell a bunch of insurance, but I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. But I also wanted to help other people win and be successful. And so when I looked at where I was never going to get to the level that I felt like I needed to be at or wanted to be at, because there's the level of success, or the lack thereof, I guess I would say. And this just isn't where I came from. This is a lot of insurance companies are that way, and a lot of sales companies are that way too. So I say that to say, if you're watching this and you're coming from a different insurance company or a different sales company, there's lots of situations where you're not necessarily set up for success, or the new person's not set up for success. Here, the new person coming in ground floor can be successful, can make a lot of money, and very, very quickly can build a business here, because of not only are we not calling, not cold calling, we're you know, calling people that are looking for what we're doing. And then also people start at such a high comp here that they can be successful here, and they don't have to be a top salesperson here. They can come in and not have any experience. We have so many people that have come from so many different backgrounds here that are successful here, that are able to do really well here, provide for their family, pay their bills, but also start right away building a business. And I just look at the short year that we've had. I mean, and there's people that have built faster businesses than us, but we are a very, very healthy business right now. There's other teams where I've come from before that they're not even doing that, you know, after 10 years. So it's just a total difference.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's the key, is just recruiting. And I know Matt's starting to build a team. He's got Luke, your brother. And how does it feel to be in business with your brother? And like, as you start building, you're a sales manager now, so you're starting to get that. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's really fun. That was actually one of the big reasons of coming over here. Is I was working, again, practice company, and I had Mike Crouch had posted something, and I actually tagged my brother in the post saying, "Hey, we're looking to hire." And Mike Crouch called me up, and he goes, "Hey man, just out of curiosity, like, why are you not trying to get your brother to come work with you?" And I was like, that was one of the things where it was like, because I don't really want him to come work here, and it not because it wasn't a great company, but it just like the day in day out, as far as there's kind of a lot of disrespect throughout the day. You're like I said, I mean, and it's part of the business. It's you take it here and there, but you're walking in cold calling and you get chewed out, and it's like I just didn't want to have him go through that. Whereas that's crazy. Yeah, I had. We don't need to get into it, but
I would say too, if I can interrupt you, to summarize your feeling of what you just said, I felt like I just didn't have the confidence of recruiting and hiring people that I genuinely cared about. Yep. Like warm market hiring here, not to take the question away from you, but warm market hiring here is such a big piece of what we do. And I just, like you, I didn't have the confidence to hire a lot of people that I knew could have done well, but maybe not necessarily in that system. So that feeling of anxiety, like, hey, that's I'm doing okay here, but go look at this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. So sorry, I didn't
No,
mean
you're good. And so that was a huge part of it is again, it was like, why do you want him to come work over here? Why don't you come look over here? And anyway, so that's kind of how that got started. So it's really cool to be able to bring him on and kind of see him grow and see him now start looking more into wanting to take it to the next level, and he's starting to move forward with that, and so that's just kind of cool to see all that happening.
Yeah, I remember those conversations. I remember you called, and and I told him ultimately it was up to you. Like we have to figure out where you want to be, and I think that's the thing with Velocity. It's just we want to be a big team, and the way it's transpired with a lot of people, we've had these situations, but at the end of the day, we just want people to win, And for me, we made some moves recently. It's like, hey, it's about that person. I sent that, so it has to be about the other people.
Yeah.
And what's best for them. So, and I think, again, we are a big family. But going back to, you mentioned family, it's funny so yesterday my daughter got married, and my brother-in-law is a pastor and a teacher. And guess what he's going to come do? Work with us. But I never, he watched it for a year.
Yeah.
And I never see him doing this necessarily, or nor would I ask him. I'm just saying, the other one I know I would never do. My son-in-law, who's, by the way, killing it. He was a former police officer. By the way, I didn't recruit him. He actually saw BDM on Facebook. There's a tip. And, some other guys came from there. So share that on. But anyways, we kind of wrap this up. Maybe one or two things that, hey, Team Adrenaline's definitely on fire. They're growing really as fast as anyone. You mentioned, another one, Mike DePotti, who came to work with us, who's doing really well. He's going through some stuff with his family and stuff
Absolutely,
right now. But every time I talk to him, it's like, if it wasn't for this, the blessing that I have and the financial stress is not there. And if he'd have been somewhere else, especially where we came from, I'm just saying, I'm not sure he'd be paying his bills right now, which is crazy. Whereas now he talked about that. But anyway, Tim, as we wrap it up, just a couple other things why they want to come work with Team Adrenaline, just FFL as a whole, and then tell them how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, one thing that I would say too that I think is awesome is we do a ton of giving back with the company. That to me is really important because what we're blessed with here as individuals and as a company and as managers and things like that. It's great to make a lot of money, but we're not necessarily put here on earth for us to make a lot of money and hoard it. We're put here on this earth to bless other people, and we're to whom much is given, much is expected. And so when you look at the opportunity that we have, when you look at how we can use those blessings to bless other people, and I mean, there's a lot of people on our team that wouldn't be here if Dave hadn't treated the business this way and hired people and reinvested money in the business in recruiting, hiring, and all the stuff that he does. There's people that will come to the business because of these podcasts. There's going to be, and all of this isn't free. It's not paid for necessarily by anybody else other than Dave reinvesting his money. And so we've just kind of followed that leadership as well, an example. And we've got staff and stuff now, and we're starting to put stuff out. And there's going to be people that are coming onto our team simply because we're respecting and using the money not just to go out and buy fancy cars or boats or new houses. It's we're building a business, and we can see greater things coming for what we do. Yeah. And so that's the mindset. Anybody coming in looking at this, if you just want to come in and just make a bunch of money and you want to be in sales, you can definitely do that here. There's plenty of opportunity to do that. If you want to come in and have a lifestyle business, you can do that. But we're specifically looking for people that want to build a business. We're looking for people that understand kind of how the money works, how that can really make a difference, change people's lives. And I mean, Team Adrenaline, you said it, we're on fire, and it's because of great people like Matt and Mike, and you've got a great guy, Dan Butler, coming on board. He's doing big things. So super excited about trajectory where we're going here.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, a couple last comments, and you mentioned Dan. How he's doing good, huh?
Yeah, he's loving it. Like I said, that was a warm market thing. I had posted something on Facebook. He reached out to me and he just said, "Hey, I've been doing a corporate job now for X amount of years, looking to get out of it, and I actually have and he did it. And he basically said, I'm going to do it part-time to get started. He did. He was working weekends, and then he worked, I think, 2 weekends, and he said, I'm taking all of next week off. I'm gonna do this full time. And then, like I said, that's when, yeah,
So how does it feel to change somebody's life like that?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely. It's wonderful. And like I said, now I have some other people reaching out to me just through Facebook. It's my warm market. And what's really cool is, like we talked about before, if people would have been reaching out to me with the previous company, I would have been just a lot more hesitant because I saw a lot of people come in and a lot of people leave.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, now when people are reaching out and it's like, hey, I want to get more information. I saw this. Can we talk about this? And it's like, yeah, like, absolutely. This is definitely something that, and again, you got to work hard. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that you can do.
So Matt, how do they get a hold of you? Your phone number, however. He's in Minnesota, but you can work anywhere with him all across the country. But how do they get a hold of you?
Call me, leave a message, or text me, 612-991-0611.
Okay, and you, Tim?
Yep, you can definitely reach out to me. You can send me a message. You can hit me up at tim@ffladrenaline.com, or my phone number is 229-402-3726, and we're on social media. You can look us up on all the social media platforms and stuff too. So.
Yeah, and I'm speaking of. There could be EVP this month. Get your logo here this month. We could do that this month.
Absolutely.
That's what gonna make that happen. Yeah. So, hey guys, thanks for being on. Reach out to Matt, Tim, Team Adrenaline. We'd love to have you here at FFL Velocity, but FFL as a whole. So we're just one big family. Thanks, Sean, Mike, again for everything, and thank you, Andrew Taylor, and the rest of the team. So thanks so much.